Good afternoon, Suidlanders, and welcome to the Week in Review for Friday, the 23rd of August. We missed last week because the video that I produced was reviewed by Mr. Miller, and he felt that I'd been overly explicit about some of our sources and that we should keep that privilege to ourselves. So I'm going to do a bit of a catch-up for both weeks because that video wasn't published, if that's not obvious. Beginning the 9th to the 10th of August, the USA began to deploy what has since come to total 1/3 of the USA's entire naval fleet in the vicinity of Israel, and that's not to mention roughly 40,000 troops and numerous aircraft in anticipation of supporting Israel in the event of Israel invading Lebanon all the way up to the Litani River to take on the Hezbollah paramilitary organization, Shia. It's affiliated to Iran, which is the capital or the center of Shia Islam in the world. On the 11th of August, a second transgender male boxer in the Paris Olympic Games won a gold medal in women's boxing. Also on the 11th of August, the Chinese foreign minister undertook to his Iranian counterpart that if war breaks out in the Middle East, China shall support Iran. That came a week after the Flight Tracker, famous Flight Tracker website, revealed that overnight, Russia suddenly began a ferry bridge of Il-76 military cargo aircraft to and from Iran. I myself counted at one point, simultaneously on that route, over 50 Il-76s or Il-76 aircraft. So it was a massive ferry or airlift endeavor that went on for a few days. Many thousands of tons of military cargo were delivered by Russia to Iran. The general speculation is that it would be anti-aircraft missile systems, air defense systems, and cruise missile systems. On the 15th of August, Floyd Shivambu, deputy president of the EFF, suddenly and shockingly resigned and announced that he would join Jacob Zuma's MK party. Yesterday at an MK press conference, it was revealed that Floyd Shivambu had been appointed MK's national organizer. Please watch this space, Suidlanders. There are big things happening on the South African political landscape. We know that the MK party was founded with funds that came out of Russia, and they appear to be endeavoring to become a genuine, serious challenge to the ANC, a well-organized, well-funded, serious contender. It was reported on the 12th of August, but I only saw the report on the 15th of August. Therefore, I have it after the 15th, the Floyd Shivambu story. It was reported by Statistics South Africa that South Africa's expanded unemployment rate, i.e. the unemployment rate, the expanded unemployment rate is the unemployment rate. Everything else is like a false version. Only the expanded unemployment rate is the full unemployment rate, is now 42.6%. You may recall that we reported a couple of years ago that it had reached 38%. So it's increased by more than 10% of the 38% in the intervening period. On the 16th of August, by roughly the 16th of August, that's my own arbitrary date, it was becoming apparent. There had been earlier reports, but they were few and far between. They were scattered. It was becoming apparent that there is a small but growing number of vaccinated people who are developing monkeypox all around the world, particularly in Africa, where the World Health Organization and the African Centers for Disease Control have declared an emergency as a consequence, the illness being as a consequence of the chimpanzee adenovirus that is present in one, perhaps more, but I can only say for certain, in one of the vaccinations in question. There are two things to remark here. What will the illnesses be that come out of the other three of the four major vaccination brands that were used across the world? What next? The other thing worth mentioning is that you may recall that in March or April of this year, the famous epidemiologist and virologist, Dr. Geert van den Bosch, who is supposedly the greatest living exponent of those fields of study, forecast a tsunami of acute and severe illnesses among the vaccinated across the world in the month of July this year. July came and went. By the end of July, we were hearing about the monkeypox, but scattered, few and far between. And lo and behold, he was out by a few weeks. It may be that the monkeypox is going to become an enormous, enormous, enormous thing if he is correct, if that was what he was alluding to. I have read in the past few days that there is talk among the elites of a lockdown and compulsory vaccination. Non-vaccination will be criminalized. And you will presumably be obliged by force to accept the vaccination against the monkeypox decree. Some of you will be aware that sometime last week, President Cyril Ramaphosa called upon Western countries to donate large amounts of vaccine against the monkeypox. This could turn out to be a very serious thing. On the 19th of August, the Russian Federation published a decree by the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin. As a matter of interest to you, and Mr. Miller is my witness to this, he came down to see me on Monday, and I said to him, I've received a certain message, but I didn't want to open it, knowing that you were coming. I thought it would be nice to read it together. It turned out to be a couple of messages, a voice note, this, that. And we had been sent about 48 hours prior to the big hullabaloo, the Alex Jones report, etc., about this Russian decree. Right, what is the Russian decree about? It is an invitation, effectively an invitation, to like-minded peoples across the world to come to Russia. And therefore there's a suggestion, if I may put it that way, that Saatlanders are the kinds of people that they have in mind. Very, very interesting indeed. Also from the 19th of August, Monday the 19th of August, it was reported that Klaus Schwab announced at an event, either that day or the previous day or the day prior again, that an era of shock events is coming ahead of the USA presidential election on Tuesday, the 5th of November. I remind you that the US presidential elections are always held on the first Tuesday after the first Monday in November every 4 years. So if the first Monday is the 7th, then the elections will be on the 8th. If it's the 1st, then the elections will be on the 2nd. If the 1st is a Tuesday and it has not been preceded by a Monday, then it will not be on the 1st Tuesday. It's the 1st Tuesday after the 1st Monday of the November of the year in question. And last but not least, speaking of US elections, we are presently awaiting, as we speak now, the time now is just after 3 o'clock. It's quite late for me to produce this video, but I've struggled with the change of scenery and all the differences that you can see because the office studio was not working, the acoustics were no good, and that's relatively easy to fix, but the lighting was just beyond horrible, and that's very difficult to fix without money and an expert. So it's now just after 3 o'clock, as I say, and as we speak, we are awaiting the news that's apparently going to come that Robert F. Kennedy Jr., son of the younger brother of John F. Kennedy, both John F. Kennedy and his younger brother, John F. Kennedy as president, his younger brother as Attorney General, were both assassinated. The son of the Attorney General, of the younger brother, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's running as an independent candidate in the forthcoming US elections, is apparently going to announce this morning that he is dropping out of the race and he's going to team up with Donald Trump, which will be very, very, very big news indeed, beloved friends. It will change the face of the American elections, one of the most fascinating, crazy elections in American history, but it will add an entirely new complexion to the American elections. We're all on the edges of our seats. With that, I say thank you for watching this week's The Week in Review. We wish you very much of the Lord's blessing and strength and hope for the time that lies immediately ahead of all of us. Goodbye and God bless you.